Welcome to pages 11 and 12 in your division book. I am so excited to join you on these pages. I cannot wait to begin. Woohoo! Let's start with all our enthusiasm on page 11. Notice the title, Dividing by Tenths. That tells you that every one of the divisors is in the 10th place, which means you will have to move the decimal one time on all of these. This is a whole page of moving the decimal one time. So let's begin. Number 2. To make this a whole number, we move the decimal one time and one time. Our division problem becomes we end up with 2 whole numbers. This is the only one like this. Seven goes into 1 0 time. 7 goes into 17 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14. 3, bring down the 9, 39. 7 goes into 39 5 times. 5 times 7 is 35. Subtract. Bring down the 2. 7 goes into 42 6 times. So when I look at my quotient, I have 0, 2, 5, 6. That means my answer is 256. I would like for you to write your actual quotient separate from that. That way I can see that you understand concepts like how that 0 has no value. This is 256. Move on to number 6. Ethan is walking in the door. Hi, son. How are you? I'm doing a lesson. Number 6. We move the decimal one time, like we do on the whole page, because they're all tenths. Move the decimal one time. We have a whole, but we also have tenths. The decimal digits only go to the 10th place. So that gives us 19 into 672.6. You see my decimal is there now? I'm going to think of this as 20. 20 goes into 60 3 times. All right, so 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 1 is 3. 4, 5. 57. That is so close to 20. It's easier to estimate by thinking of it as a 20. I subtract, I get 102. 20 goes into 100 5 times, so I know this will be 5. Erase my little 2 over there. So 5 times 9 is 45. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 more is 9. Let me erase my little 4 over there. I subtract 9, 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. That's a 9. Bring down my 6. This one's going to be a little tricky. 20 goes into 76 3 times. It's just barely under 80. This is just barely under 20. I bet that this goes in 4 times. Let's see. 4 times 9 is 36. I think I'm right. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3, 7. Yep. Ha-ha. There we go. Am I finished yet? Of course not. I heard you all say no. Good for you. This decimal goes up into my quotient. Then my answer up here is 35 and 4/10. Make sure when you finish that you come down and do number 7. We can't do that yet because you have to answer this about all of them. Did each answer have a decimal point? Okay. Now, on to page 12. This one is just like the other page in that every single one of your quotients will be moved the same number. Whereas the other page, they were all tenths. This one, they all have hundredths. You've got 2 decimal places, every single one of these divisors. Which means on this whole page, you'll move the decimal 2 places. Now that's not standard. Typically you have to make a decision how many you move. But on these pages, they've kind of set it up so they're all the same. And what this does is it just helps you practice getting comfortable moving the decimal without getting messed up on, wait, how many places do I move it? So anyway, understand that. I don't usually like to give you pages where you don't have to think about it. That's why I want to make sure you understand that this is just these pages in particular. With that said, let's look at number 5. To make this into a whole number, 4 hundredths, you move it 2 places, 1, 2. And if you move that one 2 places, you move that one 2 places. 1, 2. Once again, you end up with 2 whole numbers. I'm going to rewrite this. I end up with 4 into 1,348. 4 goes into 1 0 times. 4 goes into 13. 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract and get 1. Bring down the 4. 4 goes into 14 3 times. 3 times 4 is again 12. Subtract. Bring down the 8. 4 goes into 28 7 times. And that's it. So my answer is 337. I'm going to write it up here. 337. Like that. Notice how I rewrote it. You really, really need to rewrite it. Don't just try to base it on that. I want you to rewrite these. I've had to have people do them over because they didn't rewrite them and had a few mistakes. And even the ones that they got right, I had them redo all of them because it was confirmation that they made as many mistakes as they did with that decimal, that it wasn't working for them. So write them, please. So number 8. As before, we move the decimal 2 places. as you will on the whole page again. You move this one over 2 places, that puts the decimal here. So this is what I meant when I say rewrite it. I'm rewriting the whole thing with the revised decimal placement. So now my decimal's there, 539 and 5/10. Just like that. 13 goes into 5 0 times. 13 goes into 53. Let me think of 15. 15, 30, 45. I'm going to say 3 times. If it's wrong, I'll redo it. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 1 is 3. Ooh. Wrong. It's 4 times. All right, 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Okay, it was close. There you go. So how do you handle it when you guessed wrong? You do what I just did. Yeah, redo it. Erase and start over. Let me erase this. If you multiply the way I do and use that, make sure after each time that you erase the numbers that you carried. 53 minus 52 is 1. Bring down that 9. 13 goes into 19 one whole time. Whoops. I'm really eager to write that 3. I subtract. Get 6. Bring down the 5. 13 goes into 65. That was 4 times. I'm going to say 5 times. I'm almost certain that's right. Goes into 52 4 times. And there's a difference of 13 between those numbers, so it's got to be 5. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. See, got that one right. Before I'm completely finished, I will put my decimal in my quotient, 41 and 5/10, and I'll write it up here, like that. So, remember, the way these pages are set up, every single one of the divisors has digits only to the 10th place. So you will move the digits, move the decimal 1 time in these. On this page, they go to the hundredths place. You will always move the decimal 2 times. You got it.